I'm here with Coach Hoffmann from the University of Minnesota Morris Cougar football team, coming off a loss to Martin Luther. Coach put up some big numbers offensively this past week. Talk a little bit about your quarterback throwing for 300 yards.
Yeah, obviously it was a career day for Justin. Did very well. The game kind of started as a bit of a slugfest, kind of back and forth type of game, and our offense seemed to respond every time. And that's credit to Justin. He made some great throws, certainly in the first half. There's some long third down conversions that he made, whether it was with his arm or with his legs. Those are the types of things that Justin brings, is that he can be pretty dynamic in both phases in terms of with his arm and with his legs. So it's good to kind of see him mature and really utilize those tools that he has. And we wish that we could have sustained that throughout the course of the game. Kind of went to the well too many times, I guess, and came up dry there in the second half. But even in those situations, those are things that Justin, again, if he makes better decisions with the ball, because even though, again, he had an awesome day. It was, like I said, career day. He'll be the first to tell you that 3 turnovers, 3 picks, in the second half can't happen. And, those are on drives too, where we're driving again. And so, that's something Coach Micah Johnson, I know, continues to work with him on, is just take what the defense gives you. And sometimes when you get behind, you kind of start pressing, and you kind of, as an offense and as a quarterback, start to think you got to do more than you need to. And so, felt like from that standpoint, I kind of lost track just a little bit, but I'm excited to kind of see now if we can get consistency out of him. Now we're in business. So excited to see him obviously this week and how he performs against a good defense.
And staying on the offensive side of the ball, Brendan Carlson, Nate Sheridan continue to be just a constant on offense. What do they do to get open and continue to put up numbers for the Cougs?
Yeah, they just do they just run the routes. They run what they're supposed to. And when we do those things and we can run the right routes and obviously Justin can execute the throw, we can be successful, throwing the ball. And certainly having 100 yards rushing, a lot of that is Justin, to be honest. I would certainly, as I talk the offense about, we'd like to see more consistency and keep trying to push the ball in terms of running. But to be honest, we're a little bit banged up front offensive line-wise. Our running backs are a little dinged up too. And so, we got to adapt our offense a little bit. And so, it's not a typical offense, I guess. I'd like to see us throwing the ball 51 times a game. But, the game kind of called for it in terms of, we were trailing a little bit and just try to keep clawing back. And defensively, we got to certainly be better. And that's something that was a little bit frustrating from Saturday is our execution defensively. So, but obviously, Carlson continues to be a guy for us as a playmaker. We got to continue to utilize him in any fashion, whether it's on special teams, offense, maybe mix him in on defense, whatever we got to do to get him on the field. He's a good player. And Sheridan just continues to be kind of everyday lunch pail type guy. He runs his routes, gets the ball caught, and gets what he can. But certainly Carlson's a kind of more of that home run-ish type guy for us that can be dynamic.
And defensively, Marcus Luna had a big day, 17 tackles. Your defense struggled a little bit numbers-wise, but what did you see from the defense that you liked?
Certainly in the second half, we just executed better. I mean, there was no drastic changes schematically. We just kind of refocused some things. And, as you sit there and rewatch the tape of it, you're just a little bit frustrated because they did nothing that we didn't prepare for. And they did nothing in their veer game. We knew exactly what they were going to do. And, they were a little bit more of a probably less veer and more zone option stuff, which, again, we prepared our guys for. And so, just getting kind of refocused in half. Luna, again, anytime he plays option teams, those inside backers for us have to have huge days. And he probably could have had more tackles, to be honest. He did miss a few, but his effort play on that fumble is awesome. And creating more turnovers. We had 3 more. That's encouraging. We got to continue to do that. It's got to be a staple for us. But again, just they threw the ball about as well as I thought they were capable of, which concerned me going in. Big plays. Grant continues to be an issue for us defensively, and playing with some young secondary players, that's not an excuse. We got to get it right, and so excited here to kind of get things refocused versus another team that's going to sling the ball around the yard. So our corners our DB's got to rebound here pretty quick.
Yeah, sliding into this week, going up to Duluth, the long trip to play St. Scholastica, who's 5-1 in the conference, and traditionally going to throw the ball on you. How do you shore up those things and get ready to play defense against their vaunted offense?
Yeah, obviously their skill positions are good, very talented. Up front, they're a little bit young, but they kind of utilize what those guys do well, and they're simple run scheme type things. But again, they're a pretty complex pass game, and they're going to throw the ball around the field, and they don't try to make any sort of bones about it. They kind of have some things where they extend their run game, I guess, with the backside of the backfield and throwing them screens and things like that around space. Aaron Olson continues to be probably the top receiver in our conference. A kid that pretty much is double teamed every week, still makes catches and still is pretty high in our conference in terms of yards and in terms of scoring. So, but then there are other skill guys too. As you try to focus attention on him, they got other guys that can make plays too. And so it's not just one guy. Obviously, as we look at it, we're going to be conscious of Olsen, and we got to make sure that we're understanding where he is at all times. Maybe just have some coverages designed to him, but at the same time, we got to be conscious of being able to get pressure up front. This quarterback Edwards this is his third year kind of in this system, and he just continues to get better at it. And he's a guy that makes good decisions with the ball, takes what the defense will give him to, and at times will just get it down the field to his playmakers, which is always a concern defensively.
And you look at coming off a big week offensively, how do you keep that going into this week against the Saints defense?
Yeah, it's a good defense too. They're a defense that's kind of morphed a little bit. They're traditionally have been a 3-3 stack type defense, and so now they've kind of gone to a 4-man-ish type front a little bit, which is a different look for them. They're still home base. I think is still their 3-man stuff, but it's a team that's athletic. Their defensive secondary is athletic. They disguise things well. They get after the quarterback, and again, we'll certainly have a challenge there, certainly up front as well with our front five. So I think it goes back to again the execution of just taking what they give you, and Justin's got to be conscious of making sure that he's not trying to do too much with the ball at times, and just try to again execute, and we got to give them some different looks offensively, which we certainly will, and try to utilize and hopefully can run the ball a little bit more efficiently. But this is a tough team to run the ball against. So, there's a reason why they're pretty high in our conference in total defense. So, those are challenges that we kind of face. And again, hopefully, like I said, we'll have a good week of preparation here, and go to Duluth and put on a good show.
Looking forward to it, Coach. 3:00 start up in Duluth this week against the College of St. Scholastica.